You don't need followers to make money online. What you really need are better words. In fact, what if I told you that the most profitable skill online is just knowing how to use the right words? Most people think copywriting is just fancy advertising, or worse, something to do with copyright law. It's not. Copywriting is the art and science of using words to sell, and I've seen firsthand how powerful it is. Over the last 10 years, I've created campaigns for Google, Amazon, Meta, and thousands others, made millions of dollars online, and built entire businesses using nothing but words. And here's the kicker. I got a C- in high school English, so I'm not some gifted writer. I just learned how to write words that work. And in a world where attention is currency, knowing how to write words that sell is like holding a superpower. So in this video, I'm going to show you what copywriting really is, how it works, and a few simple tools you can use to start writing copy that gets real results, even if you've never written a word before. By the way, if you're ready to turn this skill into a real business, I've put a link in the descriptions below this video where I'm giving away my entire marketing growth system. The templates, the scripts, the funnels, all free, including a 30-day high-level trial so you can start landing clients this week. So with that said, let's dive in. Alright, first things first, what actually is copywriting? Well, this is where a lot of beginners get confused, so let's clear it up fast. Copywriting is not copywriting. You're not dealing with trademarks or legal stuff. Copywriting, with a W, is writing words that get people to take action, click a button, sign up for something, buy now, that kind of thing. And here's the thing that most people miss. It's not just writing, it's persuading. It's the difference between someone scrolling past your product or service or offer or message and stopping to say, wait, I need that. When done right, it's one of the most profitable skills that you can learn because everything online runs on words. Copywriting is the engine behind every great marketing message. Let me give you a better picture. You know those emails that you get from brands? Or the website headline that made you click? Or the social media caption that convinced you to try a new app? That's copywriting. And if you've ever wondered what does a copywriter actually do, it's this. We write words that make people click, buy, or believe. I'll be honest, I used to think copywriting was some secret skill reserved for the madmen types in New York, or creative writing majors who drank a lot of coffee and wore those funny French hat things. A beret, that's what they're called. But I was way off, because when I started digging, I realized that copywriting is just this. Words that work. Words that make people click, scroll, buy, sign up, take action. It's not about being poetic or clever, it's about being clear and useful. But let's bring this down to earth. Imagine you're selling cupcakes. One description says, vanilla cupcake. Cool, accurate, but kind of boring. Now compare that to this one. Soft, golden vanilla sponge topped with a swirl of buttercream, just like grandma used to make. Now, we're not just describing a cupcake, we're making someone want it. Same product, but the second one taps into memory and comfort and emotion. That's the power of good copy, and that's the real reason copywriting matters. Because you can have the best product and the best service in the world, but if your words don't connect with people, they'll never know why it matters. Copywriting bridges the gap between what you offer and why it matters to your audience. Copywriting is just communication with strategy. So, now that you got a clear picture of what it is, let's talk about how to actually start doing it, even if you've never written a word of copy in your life. Here's the deal. Most beginners freeze when they're first starting copywriting because everything feels overwhelming. You search copywriting for beginners, you land on a polished sales page, and suddenly it feels like you need a marketing degree just to get going. Here's the good news. You don't. You don't need a fancy certificate, you don't need years of writing experience, and you definitely don't need anyone's permission. What you do need is curiosity, a willingness to practice, and a simple structure to follow. If I were starting again from scratch, here's exactly what I'd do. Step 1, start reading copy like a copywriter. Not just skimming it, studying it. Every time that you see a Facebook ad or an email subject line or a product description, I want you to pause and ask yourself, why did they write it like that? What's the goal here? You're not just reading for content anymore. You're reading to reverse engineer what works. This is how you train your eye, like an artist studying other paintings or a chef tasting food to figure out the spices. You want to build that instinct where you can look at any piece of writing and know why it works or why it doesn't. And if you're interested in seeing how I write copy that converts, you can opt in one of the links down below and see it in action firsthand. Step 2, write every day, even if it sucks. Do not overthink this. You don't need a client or a big project. Just practice. Write a headline, then try 5 more versions. Take a product from your kitchen and try to sell it in a single sentence, or copy the back of a cereal box and rewrite it to sell dog treats. I'm not kidding. I actually did that once. It was terrible, but it taught me something. Because, just like going to the gym, the more reps you get in, the stronger you get. And when you copy great copy by hand or rework it to make it better, you're training your brain to write in that rhythm. It's kind of like learning a new language by mimicking native speakers. Step 3, pay attention to what grabs your attention. The next time that an ad or a post or a headline makes you stop scrolling, ask yourself why. Was it the headline or the curiosity or the way that they told a story? This kind of awareness turns everyday browsing into real training. You start spotting patterns, and soon enough, you'll know how to use those same tools in your own writing. So, if you've been thinking, but I don't know where to start, well, then start here. Pick something in your house. Anything. Now, write one sentence that would make your friend want to buy it. That, my friend, is copy. And that's your first exercise. That's exactly how every pro starts. Once you've got that rhythm going, you'll be ready to take things up a notch. Because up next, I'm going to show you a few core copywriting principles. I'm talking about things that are going to make your writing way more effective, way faster. So let's break those down now. All right, so you've started practicing. You're writing headlines and reworking ads and building that copy muscle. Well, now let's take things a level deeper. Because once you've got down the basics, the next step is knowing how to structure your copy so it actually works. Here's the deal. Writing without a framework is kind of like cooking without a recipe. Sometimes it works, usually it doesn't. So instead of winging it every time, you want to use a few tried and true formulas. These are like cheat codes. They help you skip the confusion and go straight to the win, so you're not staring at a blank page wondering where to even start. So let me show you the most useful ones right now, especially if you're just getting started. Number 1, AIDA. Attention, interest, desire, action. This is probably the most well-known framework in copywriting, and for good reason. Think of AIDA like building a staircase. At the bottom, you've got someone's attention. Well, your job is to guide them step by step all the way to the top where they take action. So, what does that look like? Well, it all starts with attention. Here you want to grab them, a headline, an image, something that makes them stop scrolling. Then we've got interest. Now that they're looking, give them a reason to keep going. Maybe it's a relatable story or a surprising statistic. After that, we move them to desire. This is where you show them what's in it for them. How does this thing make their life better? And then ultimately, action. Tell them exactly what to do next, whether it's buy now or download the guide or book the call. It's simple, it's powerful, it's repeatable, and once you start seeing this structure in action, you're going to spot it everywhere. Number 2, PAS. Problem, agitate, solution. This one's great when you're trying to speak directly to pain points. Here's how it works. First is the problem. Call out something that your audience is struggling with. Next, agitate. Dig into that struggle, really make them feel it. Then, the solution. Offer your product or service or idea as the fix. Let me give you an example. Let's say you just made a killer video about how to tame a grizzly bear using nothing but your bare hands. You're proud of it, deservedly so. So you hop on Instagram and post it with, check this out, brutal. Look, you didn't survive hand-to-claw combat with a 700-pound apex predator just to post like it's 2009. You need something with teeth. Lucky for you, PAS is here to save the day. So instead of sounding like a bored intern doing social media on autopilot, say something like this. Problem. Tired of women overlooking you like you're the human equivalent of lukewarm soup? Agitation. You've tried everything. V-necks, protein powder, that one motorcycle you can't afford but financed anyway. Still, you go to sleep every night spooning a pillow and questioning your life choices. Solution. It's time to do something legendary, like taming a grizzly bear with your bare freaking hands. Watch this video and become the man woodland creatures fear and women respect. And just like that, you PAS'd your way into hearts and minds and maybe even inboxes. But here's a little secret that most copywriters miss. They think that the problem that they're trying to solve here is helping people tame bears. Wrong. That's like saying someone buys a drill because they just love drills. No, nobody loves drills that much. Well, except for this guy, he does love drills. No, what most people want isn't a drill. What they want is a hole in the wall. Preferably where the shelf or picture goes that they want to hang up, and even more preferably, doing it all before guests come over and silently judge their life. The real pain here is ego. It's pride. It's the desperate need to feel manly in a world of oat milk lattes and gentle jazz playlists. So when you're writing anything, even a goofy post about bear wrestling, don't sell the drill, sell the hole. Or in this case, sell the primal urge to prove you're not someone who cries during Disney movies. But seriously, Coco just wrecked me. Number 3, benefits over features. This one's simple, but a lot of beginners miss it. Like we talked about just now with the whole drill thing, people don't care about the tool, they care about the result. Again, this part is so important, so it's worth saying again. Nobody buys a drill because they want a drill, they want that hole in the wall. The same goes for courses or apps or services or anything. Don't just tell people what something is, tell them why it matters. Here's the difference. Feature, this course is 10 hours long. Benefit, you'll learn how to write high-converting copy in a weekend. Do you see the shift there? Features are the ingredients, benefits are the flavor. You wouldn't try to sell a cookie by listing flour, sugar, butter. You'd say warm, gooey, chocolate chip cookie, fresh out of the oven. Well, the same rule applies here. Number 4, write like you talk. This one's easy to say, harder to do. When writing copy, you don't need to sound fancy. You don't need to write like a novelist, and you definitely don't need to sound like a corporate LinkedIn post. You just need to sound human. Imagine you're explaining your product or your service to a friend over coffee. Well, that's the vibe that you want. Clear, casual, confident. In other words, the next time you're writing copy, think coffee shop conversation, not corporate memo. And here's a quick trick. When you're done writing something, read it out loud. If it sounds weird or robotic, rewrite it until it doesn't. Good copy sounds like a conversation, not a lecture. So, to recap our frameworks here, use AIDA to guide people step by step. Use PAS to speak to problems they care about. Focus on benefits, not just features, and write like you talk. Write like you're having a conversation with someone, because real always wins. Once you start using these frameworks, your writing won't just improve, it'll actually start getting results. Now, if you're thinking, cool, but how do I make money doing this? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Also, if you want to shortcut the whole process and start landing clients fast, I've actually bundled all of my proven templates and sales funnels and scripts into a complete marketing system, and you can grab it for free today. Links below. Okay, let's keep going. Alright, so by now you know what copywriting is and you've got a few solid tools to start writing, but here's the question on everyone's mind. How do you actually get paid to do this? Because copywriting sounds cool and all, but what's the path from writing practice headlines at your kitchen table to getting paid real money? Well, let's break it down. There are a few main ways that copywriters make money, and the best part is that you can start with any of these, depending on where you're at. Number one, freelance for clients. This is how most copywriters get started. You find businesses either on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr or just reaching out directly, and you write for them. Emails, websites, ads, landing pages, whatever they need. At first, you might write for cheap or even free in order to build up a few samples, but it doesn't take long before someone's paying you to write words that drive results. And once you've got a couple happy clients, you've got proof and permission to raise your prices. Number two, work in-house. If you want more structure or consistency, you can also work at a company full-time or part-time as a marketing writer or content person. Plenty of businesses need someone who can write their email campaigns and update their website or create product descriptions. This can be a great way to sharpen your skills and get paid regularly while learning on the job. Number three, sell your own products. This is where copywriting gets really powerful. Because if you've got a product, a service, or even a small digital course, you now know how to write words that sell it. You don't need a big following, you don't need to go viral, you just need to connect with the right people, say the right things, and guide them toward a decision. That's what copy does best. Number four, offer copywriting as a service in your business. Maybe you already have a business. Maybe you do design or consulting or marketing for clients. Adding copywriting to your skill set instantly makes you more valuable because now you're not just building the thing, you're helping them sell it. And that's the part that most people are willing to pay for. Here's the truth most people miss. Every business needs copy, whether they know it or not. Because, like I've said before, no matter how great the product or service is, the words still have to do the heavy lifting to sell it. So whether you're freelancing, working in-house, or writing for your own offers, if you can write copy that converts, you'll never be short on opportunities. You don't need a blog or big audience, just results. And now that you know how to make money doing this, let's talk about how to get better at it faster. There are a few habits that can shave months off your learning curve, so let's dive into those now. Just like with most things, there's a few simple habits that can dramatically shorten your learning curve and help you get better way faster than most people. These aren't magic, but they work. So here's how to train your copywriting brain like a pro. Number one, hand copy great ads. Yeah, I mean literally write them out by hand. Old school. Find an ad that's working, maybe from a company that you like, and copy it out with pen and paper. It sounds silly, I know, but the fact is, it's one of the fastest ways to internalize what great writing feels like. You'll start to notice the rhythm, the pacing, the structure, and pretty soon, you'll start writing like that too. Think of it like learning a song by playing it note for note. You don't just listen, you perform it. Number two, build a swipe file. A swipe file is really just a fancy term for a folder of stuff that works. Every time you see a headline that grabs your attention or an email that makes you want to click, save it. Bookmark it, screenshot it, whatever. Just collect the things that made you stop scrolling. Because one day, when you're stuck staring at a blank page, you'll flip through that folder and go, all right, that worked on me. And then you'll know how to make it work for someone else. Number three, practice writing headlines. If you only focused on one skill for the next month, make it this one. Great headlines are the gateway to everything else. If your headline doesn't work, no one reads the rest. It doesn't matter how good your writing is. So practice. Take a product or an idea and write 10 headlines for it. Then take your favorite and write 5 new twists on it. It's a muscle, and every rep makes you better. Number four, read the right books. You don't need to read 20 books to get good at copywriting. Just a few of the right ones. So here are 3 to start with. First, the Adweek Copywriting Handbook. It's a classic, especially for direct response. Next, Cashvertising. Easier to digest than the classics, but just as powerful. It breaks down the raw psychological triggers that make people want to buy, and it does it fast, fun, and brutally effective. Number 3, Influence by Robert Cialdini. This is psychology gold, and it teaches you how people make decisions. So start with 1, read it slowly, try the ideas out, and remember, you don't need to memorize, you need to use it. Number 5, keep writing. Honestly, this one matters more than all the others combined. No book, no template, no tutorial will help if you're not actually writing. So write something every day, even if it's just a tweet, an email, or a fake ad for your favorite cereal. That's how great copywriters are made, one sentence at a time. So whether you're copying great ads by hand or building your swipe file or testing headlines for fun, just keep going. These habits don't just teach you copywriting, they rewire how you think about words and persuasion and communication. And the more you do it, the more it becomes second nature. And if you're serious about using copywriting to start or build your own business, don't forget to grab the free marketing system that I mentioned. The templates, the scripts, the funnels, and a full 30-day trial to high level. Everything's ready for you, links down below. And after you've done that, make sure to tap or click on this video next. It's packed full of even more of my best marketing strategies. So do that now, and I'll see you in there in just a second.